Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Bruce, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite Hoyas. So because my collection has grown quite a lot, I thought that would be fun to kind of like share my current top 10 favorite Hoyas right now. And so we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Really quick, if you guys don't already, go ahead and give me a follow on, well, my channel here. But you could also follow me on Instagram at skromshiz_grains because that is where I interact a lot more with people than I do with YouTube. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's get started with the ones I have right next to me, and then we'll kind of move on to the ones like right above me. Yeah. So the first one that I'm going to pull is a Rick Moyer hybrid. It's a RHM hybrid. So it is Hoya RHM-030-11. So I actually cannot use any of his pictures because this is his hybrid. I can't use any of his pictures in this video or on my Instagram at all because those pictures belong to him, and he has asked not to use his pictures from his group. So here we have the leaves. So as you can kind of see in the shadow, there's some ribbing on this newest leaf, and it's actually on a couple of these leaves here, if you guys can't see. But this is kind of like a smallish Hoya, so I have relatively small hands, and so it's about like what, 2 knuckles, if anything. So it's a small to medium type Hoya. The blooms are really nice, and it is a hybrid between the Siana and species Pola. The blooms are just amazing. They kind of look like, they look magical. They I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like if you have a fairy tale cake, this is what you expect the blooms to look like. But yeah. So that's the first one. The second one is my Hoya qinganensis. So one thing that I learned about this is that it's a really fast and prolific grower. The only problem is that if it gets too much sunlight, sometimes it might actually dry out the roots a little too fast. And so I actually had to pull this off from my south-facing window, and I had to chop the mother plant because it died on me because the roots weren't that great. So I went ahead and I re-rooted it, and it's done a lot better. These 2 notes here at the top are, well, so this one in the very tip, this is all new growth. That is all new growth, so I'm super excited. I'm super happy that I didn't fully kill this. Right now I seem to be going through a little problem with just killing all of my Hoyas. So also, I don't know what's wrong with the lighting. It's like if I sit here, it gets dark, but then if I sit here, it gets light. If I move back, Oh, there we go. We went dark again. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know how to fix this. Anyways, this is a really small leaf Hoya. This is maybe like the size of a fingernail, if that. So super small, one of my favorites. Now we're gonna go to the polar opposite, and we're gonna talk about some big leaf Hoyas. So first up is my Hoya latifolia. So the biggest problem that I have with IDing this plant, especially online, is that this plant, or this Hoya, looks like the Hoya polystachya, Hoya clandestina, the Hoya macrophylla. It's like, this one looks so similar to a lot of other Hoyas with like these very prominent veins down. Oh, here's the head test. It's kind of big. I'm waiting for it to go bigger. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, this is a kind of Hoya that kind of gets really confused with a lot of many different types of other Hoyas. One of the biggest ways to tell what it is, if you don't know what it is through its blooms. And I think from what I've heard is that the Hoya latifolia is usually a lot more round than it is elongated. So I'll just have to see how this goes out because it's kind of like this leaf is more elongated, but then this leaf is like really round. So I'll just have to wait and see. But it was sold to me uh, as a latifolia by a pretty reputable person. So I'm gonna go with the latifolia. So the latifolia is also called a dinner plate Hoya, and that's actually kind of confused with the Hoya lois Andrew Siana, which is also called a dinner plate Hoya. Um, I think somebody said that only one of them is a true dinner plate Hoya, and that one of them actually gets a lot bigger than the other. And I think that's true for the lois Andrew Siana, which is this one here. So this is the newest leaf. It's still uh, plumping itself out and hardening. I think it's almost done. But one of the ways that you could tell that this is a lois andrewsiana and not a latifolia is because it kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if I could get the lighting, but as you can see with this leaf, it kind of like curves down. So it has a little bit of a curvature underneath. So it's kind of like a bowl. Um, and it has some splashing on it, and the veining is not as prominent sometimes, but when it does, it's like these very thin lines that kind of like go out, and it kind of like shapes the outer rim. And sometimes it actually has some splashes. So like here on this one, it's got this really nice splash here. So I forgot my train of thought again. I'm so sorry. Ah, it's a common thing with me. It's fine. But yeah, so this is the Hoya lois andrewsiana. And then this one is a latifolia. So let me see if I could get some prominent leaves. So as you can see, like this one has more of a curvature than this one does. Even if you look at some of the other leaves, this one still has more of a curve than this one does. The newest leaf is, well, it's special. It's it doesn't want to play by the rules, so we'll let it be. It's okay. And so we're gonna go ahead and move on to my other top Hoyas. So I'm actually really excited for this next one. So this one is actually my Hoya endowensis. I just got this one in this week. I actually wanted to do a collected plant haul for this week, but I don't want to realize how many plants I spent on or how many plants I bought. So this is the Hoya endowensis. This one is often confused with the Hoya qinganensis, and the biggest reason why is because they're both kind of ruffly. But what I've noticed with this one is that this one is not as ruffly. It's like it has it's kind of like this one has serrated edges, but then with the qinganensis, it actually is more ruffly. That one is actually at my sink, letting the water drain out completely, so I can't exactly grab that one. But anyways, I saw this one. I've actually wanted this one for quite a while. I was actually confused with this in the qinganensis, and so I got the qinganensis thinking that it was the endowensis, and then I truly realized after that that the endo or the qinganensis is more of a woodier stemmed Hoya, and the leaves are a lot more ruffly and is a lot more succulent. This one, it is fairly succulent, but I heard that it's really difficult to grow, especially from I'm gonna pronounce her name so wrong. I'm so sorry. From Lesia's leaves. Um, she says that hers is really difficult and she has hers growing with a lot of humidity, which is gonna be a problem because I don't grow with humidity at all in my space. So we'll see how that goes. Uh, but I love how small it is. It's really great. Next up is actually my Hoyahoshikeliana variagata. So it does have some sun stress, and this was sitting on a south-facing window, and it was getting a lot more sun stressed. But I actually recently removed this from my window only because it started turning yellow, and at that point I couldn't tell if that yellow was from overwatering or underwatering, and it started looking a little bit unhealthy. So I did pull it from my window, and it started getting its hues of greens again. So I think I'm just going to keep this away from my south-facing window. I'm actually thinking about getting some shelvings for my south-facing windows, only because I've noticed that it's been a little bit too much light for a lot of my Hoyas that are getting sun-stressed. Um, yeah. So anyways, this is one of my favorites, and it has always been one of my favorites. It's really cute. It has some beautiful variegation. It has some beautiful coloring, and when the new leaves come in, they actually come in like in this reddish pinkish tint, which is super cute. So leave that one off to the side, and it's also a decently slow growing Hoya. Um, I did have a time period where it was just kind of like pushing out new growth left after right, but after I moved, it slowed down a lot, and I think it's because of how much light it was getting. So that's a problem. Anyways, moving on. So this is my Hoya tangенsis. So I got this one from UPC, or no, UPT, Unsolicited Plant Talks. And this was actually a really surprising plant to get, only because I was not expecting to buy anything. And my friend had messaged me. He goes, Bruce, this place just restocked. Do I get this? Do I get this? Or do I get this? And I'm like, what? They just restocked? And so I went ahead and I checked, and they restocked, but I didn't realize that they restocked a lot more than I thought they did. And so he was all like, okay, but what about this? And I go, boy, what do you mean? I didn't even see that. And he goes, what do you mean? It's on there. So I had to change the sort by, and so I sorted it by availability. And sure enough, the tangенsis was listed. And I was so excited because when these get sun stressed, they kind of look like little turtle shells. And they have like this beautiful reddish tint to it. It kind of reminds me of like a Hoya sunrise, but these are a lot smaller. And I'm really, really excited for their blooms, if it will give me blooms. So super excited, and I can't wait for this to grow out even more. I cannot wait to have like a hanging basket full of this plant. Okay, moving on. So one of my all-time favorites is actually my Hoya Meridethi. So this one is actually really confused with Hoya vitellinoides. The biggest reasons why is because the veining is very, very similar. The biggest difference is that the Hoya vitellinoides is a very smooth and waxy type of Hoya. Like after it hardens and everything like that, it's a really smooth, a very smooth, clean Hoya. Super waxy. The edges are actually really smooth as well. And so when you look at a Meridethi, sometimes the edges are a lot more ruffly than the vitellinoides. And as you can see here, or up here, especially in the sunlight, it's a little bit more ribbed. So it's not as smooth as and waxy as, let's say, a vitellinoides. The other difference is that this is more of a suede finish than the vitellinoid. Oh, that's a perfect view. So this has more of that suede coloration on it than the vitellinoides does. I just can't get over this. It's super gorgeous. It's like a really large leafed Hoya, and it has the veining. It's overall like the perfect Hoya. It's thick. It's veiny. Do I need to say more? It's big. Okay. So we'll move on to, I think this is number 9, because I only have 2 left up here, so it has to be number 9. So this one is actually from the mystery unboxing video that got me hysterical. This is the Hoya species NRT-1. So you guys can't really tell, but this is kind of like a really waxy leaf, and it does have the veining, and like it kind of feels flimsy, or like it looks flimsy, but it's not. It's actually like a really sturdy Hoya. I would say that it's on the thinner end compared to like the lois, Andrew Siana, and the latifolia, but I don't know. It's really waxy. It kind of gets big, and it kind of gets ruffly. Um, in some of the pictures I've seen, so I'm super excited for this to grow out. I low-key think that I planted these upside down, and the most interesting thing about this one is that this one was actually facing down like this leaf was. This stem actually rooted first before this one did, so I just popped this one up before I did it with this one. And ever since then, this one has actually curved its leaf up and out to face the sun. So, super interesting. After I realized that this turned to face the sun, I kind of became a little bit more hysterical. It's great. Being hysterical is just one of the many traits I possess. Hey. And so we'll go into our last one for today. And this is actually my Hoyahoshikeliana variegata. And the reason why is because, again, look at the ruffles. I cannot get over the ruffles. And the variegation in the middle is actually really, really nice. So you have like this really light, creamy, or like this very light, beautiful green color on the inside. It's like a very pale green. And on the edges, as it transitions from the pale green to this dark green, you kind of get like this little foresty neon green color. I'm not sure if you guys could see that better on this one, but it's like right there. And then you get like this really nice prominent dark green on the edges. So I'm super happy, super excited. I'm actually not too sure how to care for this one. Somebody told me that this is similar to a Linearis and Polynura, where it doesn't like to stay dry for too long and it prefers to stay moist. So I'm super excited for that one to grow out, and hopefully when it gets large enough, I'll be able to share it with a lot of the local people here in Colorado. So if you're here in Colorado, go ahead and join the Hoya or the Colorado Hoya Growers group. We are a growing community. We have 3 questions for you guys to answer for your guys' approval for your membership. Make sure that you do answer those questions, because I have been ignoring anybody that has not been answering those 3 questions. There are only 3 questions. Make sure that you answer them. They're not hard questions. It's mainly for me to help decipher between whether if you're spam or not. I am able to see whether if you're in some similar groups as I am. It's I've kind of grown to be a little bit more of a stickler. It's like, yes, I can see that you're in all these other groups that I'm in, but if you're not going to answer these 3 questions, then that's going to be a problem, because you can't follow directions. And if you can't follow directions, and if I post a new rule in the group, and if you cannot follow that, then I'm going to have to kick you out anyways. So just follow the rules and answer those 3 questions. It's really not that hard. But yeah, so find us on Colorado Hoya Growers. I'm on Facebook pretty often, and so you'll most likely see me kind of lingering around. And if you want to talk to me a little bit more one-on-one, go ahead and give me a follow on my Instagram at @skorumshis_greens, and go ahead and chat me up. I try to be as responsive as I can on there, but between work and everything, sometimes that doesn't work out. And if you really absolutely need to get a hold of me, find me in that Hoya group and either tag me or go ahead and DM me. But if I start getting a lot of DMs, I'm going to start ignoring people. Which is not a problem yet so far, but I'll try my best to respond to as many people. Also, because like I'm also very small YouTube channel, so I highly doubt it. But anyways, this is all that I have for today for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for seeing my top 10 favorite Hoyas.